Hello, it's Mr. Bush here. Today we're going to be going over Newton's law of action-reaction. And basically what it states is for every force you will have an equal and opposite force. What this means is if you push in one direction, the same amount of force pushes back in the opposite direction. So like if you pushed against a wall with, let's say, 20 newtons, the reaction would be that the wall would push back with the same amount of force in the opposite direction. Alright, if you look here, this is the example we did as a real quick lab. Basically, you have a balloon that has air pushing out of the back right here. Right there. And then the balloon is going to be moving forward. This is a real good example of Newton's law of action-reaction. Now, the air pushing out the back of the balloon, that is going to be the action. And the reaction is going to basically be a force pushing the balloon forward. So, however much force gets pushed out of the balloon by the air, the same amount of force gets pushed back into the balloon, and that's where you have your action force and the reaction force. Alright, if you look here, here's another example using a rocket. The rocket engine is going to basically push down. So the force coming out of a rocket engine is right here, and it's going to be pushing down. However, the rocket's going to go up, and the only way that would make sense if there's another force pushing the rocket back up. So however much force is pushed down by the rocket engine, the same amount of force gets pushed back up on the rocket. So if the rocket's engine put 40 newtons of force down, then 40 newtons of force has to push back up on the rocket. And as you can see there, both forces are equal and pushing in the opposite direction. Alright, let's go ahead and look at two more examples. Alright, in this example we're using basically a cannon. Whenever the cannon goes off, the gunpowder explodes and it puts a force on two objects. The first one is going to be our action force pushing the cannonball out. Now, however much force got put into the cannonball will basically push back on the cannon, causing the cannon to go backwards. Some of y'all may have seen that video where basically whenever they were shooting the shell, the cannon goes sliding backwards every time it basically would shoot. Now, however much force got put into the cannonball, the same amount went back onto the cannon. Now, as a lot of my students pointed out, the reason why the cannon doesn't go back as fast as the cannonball is, well, the cannon weighs a lot more. Alright, let's look at one more example and then we'll be done. Alright, this example uses a man basically stepping off of a boat onto a dock. Whenever his foot pushes force down into the boat, it pushes him forward. So basically the action is him pushing down into the boat, causing the boat to go backwards, and the reaction is the force gets put back into the man and he goes forward onto the dock. Now, on a side note, this is why you should always tie off a boat before you hop off, otherwise you'll have to go swim and get your boat. But the reason why the boat goes backwards very easily is the water provides very little friction, so there's no force stopping the boat from going backwards. So this is basically a summary of Newton's third law. The main thing to remember is for every force, there's going to be equal but opposite force, and they always push in the opposite directions. Thank you, and y'all have a great day.